If you're anything like me, your head will start to spin when you are looking for softball bats. Why are they so expensive? Well, there is more than one thing that affects the price. To really understand why they can be so expensive, you need to look below the surface. In short, softball bats are expensive because of materials, intended use such as slow or fast-pitch softball, and the league it is meant, construction method including one or two-piece bats, manufacturing process, supply and demand, marketing and advertising, logistics, brand, and the profit margin. Nine reasons why softball bats are expensive. In essence, there are 9 main reasons why softball bats are expensive. Some of the reasons have a huge effect on the price, whereas others have only friction. Be that as it may, every single reason listed affects the final price of the softball bat. Also, many of these things are true with baseball bats as well. Keep in mind that bats that have different features such as intended use, material, and construction design can have a price difference of hundreds of dollars. Materials used. There are 3 types of materials that softball bats are made of. Depending on which material the bat is made of, it will vary in performance, durability, feel, and price. Take a closer look at the materials individually. Wood. The first material that bats were made, and generally the cheapest nowadays, even though you can find great wooden bats with big price tags. Aluminum. Aluminum bats, also called alloy bats, are the first alternative to wooden bats. These bats are often found in the hands of people that love power, as many aluminum bats have weight at the end of the barrel, making it possible to transfer more power on the ball. Composite. Composite bats are the newest model and typically made from layered carbon fiber materials and are considered equal with aluminum bats, depending on what you are looking for. Hybrid. Finally, there are hybrid bats. These bats are a mixture of aluminum, alloy, composite. Generally, hybrid bats are less expensive than composite bats and more expensive than aluminum ones. Intended use. There are 2 different usage categories that both include 2 different choices. These are the game speed and league. I'll start with the game speed first. First off, there are 2 kinds of softball, slow pitch and fast pitch. The difference between the 2 is that in slow pitch, the pitching speed is far lesser than in fast pitch. On average, a slow pitch toss is 10-25, 15-40, and a fast pitch toss is 75-105, 120-170. That being said, it's only natural that these 2 different softball types require construction design. If you didn't have much knowledge about softball bats before getting this far, the chances are that you are already overwhelmed. Still, there is more to tell, so keep up, and you will be a softball bat expert. In general, there are 2 ways a softball bat can be constructed. I mean by this is whether the bat is made from one piece of material or that the handle and barrier are made separately. Take a closer look at what this means. One-piece softball bats. One-piece bats are very stiff and have virtually no flex when hitting the ball. This means that because there is no flexing or bending of any kind, no energy is lost, and the ball will strike with a higher power. Two-piece softball bats. Two-piece bats are more flexible and less stiff than one-piece bats. Also, the construction creates an effect that makes it easier and faster to swing the bat. When it comes to the price, two-piece softball bats are generally more expensive, but there are a lot of variations between the 2 depending on the other factors on the bat. Manufacturing process. The manufacturing process is always a high cost on the bat. This is because manufacturing is one of the highest costs that a manufacturer has, which will increase the overall price as the manufacturers are businesses. Businesses always need to get the manufacturing costs back before adding in the profit margin. As you can see, there are a lot of things that cost a lot of money involved, so manufacturing fees are reflected in the price of the softball bat. Below you can see a fascinating video about how aluminum baseball bats are made. The process is almost identical to softball bat. Supply and demand. Supply and demand are always a big price determination, no matter what the product is. In history, it has been salt, pepper, and you name it. In today's world, it can be nearly whatever as everything is acceptable for most people. Brand. The brand often makes a softball bat more expensive than it should be, sometimes by a long shot. This means that you need to be careful when looking for a new bat because some bats sell for much higher prices than their features will give you. In most cases, though, the more expensive a bat is, the better it is. The reason why certain brands have more expensive bats than others, and why every noticeable brand has higher prices than a brand no one has ever heard about is trust. Marketing and advertising. How did you get to know about the new expensive bat on the market? Well, it's because of marketing and advertising. The difference between marketing and advertising is that in marketing, the brand is using their websites, social media channels, email marketing, and you name it to get the information about the new bat without cost. However, advertising is when the brand has paid to get the product for people to see. Advertising can be seen in the top results on Google when you search something. Billboards, newspapers, social media advertisements, and many more. Logistics. Logistics is a part of most businesses. In essence, this means transportation and storage. Think about it, when a manufacturer has produced hundreds if not thousands of softball bats, they need to be stored many times between the manufacturer and destination and shipped all over the place. Profit margin. Last but not least, there is the profit margin. Naturally, businesses need to take a profit margin to pay themselves, their employees, and to grow. The profit margins can vary significantly depending on the manufacturer, brand, and middle hands from the raw material to the customer. We are going to end this video right away. If you have any query or information to share, please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.